Alright everyone, you may have seen something amusing coming from Tariq Nasheed on Twitter. He's supposedly a BLM activist, although he might be very well trolling with this one. Setting up what's called the Suspected Words database. It's apparently a site where you pay a small fee and you can sort of put down there on the site, oh yeah, so-and-so is racist, basically. This may be troll because the logo appears to be a swastika, and this individual actually responded to people that were saying, what the fuck are you doing? By saying, oh no, it's not a swastika, even though it clearly is a variant of the swastika. It's fairly clear. Now, that may be like irony, or it may be to detail, hey, this is the site where we put people who, you know, people's names, identities, who are actually like Nazis or something like that. Maybe, okay, but denying that it's a swastika when it clearly is one, or representative of one, makes it seem a little fishy. A lot of people are suspecting it's all troll. Here's the problem with such a site. The kind of people that are willing to spend whatever, $9 or whatever, to put someone's identity on a site to label them a racist, presumably the sort of people that are going to do that aren't BLM members putting like white supremacist names on a website. Probably what'll happen is a bunch of trolls that have the expendable money will say, ha ha ha, I put someone that I had an internet debate with that had nothing to do with race on here. Or they'll load it up with the names of black activists, like, you know, Louis Farrakhan will be on there among others, and that's what they'll end up doing. And this can happen, actually. There were a couple of years ago, there was a site that was set up to host, like, the identities of anti-Semites, and it was set up by some, I think, sub-Israeli firm. And they made a video about it, and they got hammered by 4chan, and I assume somewhere along the line somebody fucked with their site really well, because I haven't heard anything from them lately. And if this site is genuine, it'd be the same thing. I don't even know if it's up, because I searched for it, the Suspected Words database, and there's like no listing for it. A site like this is such a massive potential lightning rod for slander charges anyway, that it's not clear that they can really stay up. Internet vigilantism works when it's decentralized, when it's taking place at an unofficial level on some site, especially a place where people can be more or less anonymous, like it's happening on 4chan or something. There it works very well. It turns into a raid. It may be short-lived, or it may be a more prolonged campaign, but because the primary kickback that people are getting is the lulz, they're having a chuckle, and it's sort of a collective effort, sort of a camaraderie is built. That works just fine. We've seen it time and time and time again. Rigging polls that, you know, they put online for some media group. That happens over and over every time there's an election. Bombing some article's comment section with hatred. Certainly attacking a YouTube video, attacking a Facebook page. Mass flagging on some media articles, sort of submitting the link saying, oh, well, this is outrageous. That happens constantly. It's left, right, and center. But when you try to centralize it, when you make a site that's only dedicated to that specific purpose, it doesn't work, because if you're not charging people for submitting info, then you get a tidal wave. At some point, trolls notice, and they start fucking with it, and the site becomes so inaccurate nobody cares. If you are charging, it keeps 90% of the people who would use it in a normal fashion away, and invites trolling anyway, because they're like, oh, yeah, I can pay $9 and I put the name of someone I just don't really like on the site, and it'll be funny, because then they'll have to sort through all this info and find out who's actually a racist and who's not. And if you're taking like the ad revenue route, then of course somebody might complain that you're violating some ad service's terms of service, like you're using Google's ad system, their AdSense. That'll probably get taken down. So how are you supposed to fund the site? If you're doing it on social media so that you're not paying anything, it can work. And if there's a site that's already gargantuan and this sort of thing just happens to happen on the site, that can work. But trying to set up your own single standalone website for internet vigilantism is inefficient. Even then, though, it's still more efficient than the old guard of shilling, which was basically some politician or group funds a focus group, throws $500,000 their way, and a week later you've got some clickbait or something like that. That was widely used by the Clinton campaign in the last election. it completely failed. These people got their shit kicked in by tidal waves of trolls that outnumbered them about 100 to 1. So that was pretty funny, but I mean, this might just be troll anyway, so who really cares? When I saw it, I just immediately assumed it was a trolling endeavor. Said, well, the logo's kind of a swastika. This Tariq Nasheed person saying all sorts of off-the-wall stuff. I believe the original tweet isn't even there anymore, so it could have been just an attempt to gobble up some money before it got taken down by Google in search results or something like that. Basically, hey, if I can get 100 people to do this, I make like 900 or $1,000 or something. Maybe there'll be a bunch of trolls that'll post fake info, but I'll make off like a bandit. Maybe I get a 5-figure sum. I feel just fine. This can happen. It's sort of using the outrage that people have against racism to profiteer off of their own misery. Now, you have stuff like this all the time. It's like when some event happens, someone sets up crowdfunding, and they embezzle the money. In the fine print, it's like, oh, I can do whatever the fuck I want with this money. Leave me alone. And it's set up to, like, defend someone. The left did this with, like, I think some Klan member a while back that had hospital bills. And they're like, oh, you know, pay the hospital bills for whoever. And they took the money and donated it to, like, the Anti-Defamation League or something. And the right, I know, has set this up. Like, sometimes you get some left-wing activist. They get, like, beaten by the police because they're rioting. And then they set up their, the Antifa Hospital Fund or something, and it turns out they're actually, like, donating the money to David Duke's next campaign or something like that. And it's funny, and it's trolling, and it's an effective form of it because it almost always gets on the news when something like that happens, honestly. Even the legacy media loves to report about weird shit like that. So you have this database. Now, it has a swastika logo where you have to pay to put the names of racists on it. Yeah, it doesn't sound even slightly suspect to me. It sounds, that's perfectly normal. It's a perfectly acceptable way that such a database would do business. You know, instead of just starting a Facebook page or compiling a list, you know, you can compile it on Pastebin or something like that. But no, they have to have their own website and one that's ill-fated and get money for the posts that are put there. That's really effective, and I think that it's a little bit fishy, actually. More than Loretta Lynch's underwear. That's about all. Peace out.